This looks awful. It looks so bad.
Hello fairies! Today I'm starting work on the bodice of my wedding dress. I decided to forego using a pattern and instead attempt to make my own. Using my dress form as a guide, I drew a rough outline. Here's some crinkly paper ASMR for your pleasure. I knew this would be a very rough draft, so I made a mock-up to see how and where I needed to make adjustments. You can see I need to taper in the side seams quite a bit, but all in all, it's not too bad. Let's see how the butterfly looks on it. The pattern pieces needed to be a bit longer. To do this, I taped some extra paper to it, marked where I wanted, and cut the new extension. This way I don't have to cut out all new pattern pieces. You can see I also extended the top below the armpit too. Now for mock-up number 2. I made one more adjustment by moving the princess seam over just a smidge. I'm finally happy with the pattern pieces and can now start on the real bodice. First, I made the lining, then the bottom layer of sheer fabric, then the middle layer, and then I got really sick. My fiance and I took a short and sweet trip to the Midwest for a friend's wedding, and I caught something gnarly during our travels. I had no energy to work, and my dress got left untouched in the corner of my room for weeks. It started out as a really bad fever, then it turned into bronchitis, I had nausea, and then eventually I got pink eye in both eyes, and I was coughing so much my back gave out and I had terrible back pain. It just kept going on and on. At least the cats are enjoying being in my room again.
So I've been sick for over a week now. Yay. Man, life is just throwing curveballs at me lately. Not all of them bad though, just I haven't had as much time to work on my dress as I thought I would have. That's okay though. So I'm just gonna work on my dress bits at a time when I have spurts of energy. I'm hoping I'll start feeling better really soon. I think I can possibly get the bodice structurally put together today. And I have one more layer to cut and sew together, which is going to be out of the white fabric, and I'll put that on top of everything else. Well, before I attach them all together, I'm going to make shoulder straps so I can sew them into the bodice. Before I do all that, yeah, I'm gonna take it slow so I can get better quickly, but I also need to get this done, so. All right, now I'm gonna go start working on it.
Cutting out this sheer white fabric was one of the more tricky parts of this project. It was extremely squirrely, and if it wasn't perfectly straight, the shape would be super wonky. So of course I ended up having to cut out some pieces a few times. It was also really challenging to sew because it was so thin. And you can see here that it was too small because I cut it poorly. But we're just going to keep moving forward. Time for the straps. This fabric, as delicate as it is, was thankfully very easy to tear into strips. I just sewed them together on one side, turned them right side out with a teeny tiny safety pin to help feed through the tube, and now we've got some little straps. Now it's time to attach everything together. I began by basting the two middle layers together to help keep everything aligned. Then I sewed the top layer on. Next, I placed the straps where I wanted them to be and stitched them in place. For the lining, I sewed it right sides together so that when I flip it over, the seam will be hidden. I had to be extra careful not to sew over the straps wrong. This also took more than one try to get right. Before we do the big flippity flip, we gotta trim off the extra seam allowance so it doesn't look bulky underneath. I ironed and top stitched that seam to give it a clean, finished look. Except now I need to adjust the fit a little above the bust. That's better. The straps are extra long so that I wouldn't have to measure them ahead of time. Let's see how the butterfly looks now. So pretty. So first things first, you probably noticed this gap in the back. My mannequin is just slightly bigger than I am, so this does fit around me, but there's no give, which we don't want. We do want the give. To fix this, I'm going to Frankenstein this a little bit. The lining fabric is the correct size, but I don't know why the rest of the fabric is shorter. I don't know why that happened. So I'll cut some new panels with the top fabric so it matches the length of the lining, and that way I will have enough room to either put in lacing or an invisible zipper. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet. I'm thinking a zipper. I don't know. I will also put in some boning. I am going to put zip ties in. I've actually never done this before. I've only ever watched people do it on YouTube. It looks pretty straightforward and easy. Just sew some channels in the fabric, put the zip tie in, and you're good. And the new panels that I'm making are gonna go diagonal like that too. After I have all of that situated, then I'm going to work on the straps and little flutter sleeves, and then I'll attach the skirt, and then I'll attach the butterfly. I still have lots to do. I'm just so excited with how this whole thing is turning out so far, and just want to keep going, keep sewing, and it'll be finished. To make the new panel extensions, I traced the portion that I cut off from the back as a guide. I didn't exactly measure, I just eyeballed it and it worked out just fine. I decided to cut all of the fabric at once and sew them together all the way around, rather than cutting and sewing each layer separately like I did before. I actually preferred how this looked, so I changed the other side seams to be like this too. It helped hide the seam allowance from all the layers underneath, and it kept everything lined up much better. I regret not doing the whole bodice this way in the first place. All right, a few hours later, I have fixed the back. It is more even and it doesn't fit on my mannequin, but it fits on me, so we're going with it. And I fixed the side seams too to make it look more neat and tailored it just a bit more to fit better. And then I started on the zip tie boning situation. This looks awful. It looks so bad. I don't know why it looks so bad. I am just gonna take it apart, take the zip ties out, undo this channel that I sewed for the zip tie, and just let it go back to how it was, because oh gosh. Yeah, that is not gonna fly. That's not gonna work. Okay guys, I think I found a solution. So I have this bias tape, and what I'm gonna try to do is sew it to the inside of just the lining fabric, and then make that channel that way to put the zip tie through, and then I'll still have the support, but I won't be doing anything to the top layers of the fabric. I'm gonna try it on one of these parts first because it's smaller, and if it doesn't work out, I can take it apart faster. So I'm gonna try that and I'll show you guys what it looks like and we'll go from there. Guys, I think it worked. I have the channel sewn in, the zip tie in, you can see it sticking out, and you can't even see it. I think this is gonna work. I forgot to film an outro, but thank you so much for sticking with me to the end of this video. I faced a lot of hurdles, rough patches, and mistakes to fix during this phase of the project, so filming it all was also a bit rough. I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. This is the second of a series of videos about my wedding dress, so if you haven't already, be sure to check out the first one, and stay tuned for installment 3. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Bean, what are you doing? You crazy? You crazy kitty? Yeah. What am I saying? I don't even know. Bean, leave her alone.
So I'll cut some new I'm just gonna start. And I started on, oh my gosh, Pippin. You're just a little troublemaker today. Uh-huh. A solution. Pippin. Hey. Can you not? Can you just go over here? Thank you.